Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening and welcome once again to the Coach's Corner, the show where we take a deep dive into one of Overwatch Tranquility's feature matches. And tonight, I am joined by Nevino, and how are you doing tonight, Nevino?
Oh, I think you see me now. Hi.
Yes.
I'm good. I just got done with scrims, so here I am, ready to further melt my mind with the game of Overwatch.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Now, got to know you just a little bit before the show, and one of the interesting things that I found out is that you actually got your start in, Owlet. Is that correct?
Yeah, and they're like the inaugural season 1.
The inaugural season? No way. I got my start in their season 4, so yeah, it was just interesting to see that connection right there.
Well,
so
I mean,
now
Koala Kings won 3.5 before coming to Trank last season. And
oh,
so,
nice.
Like, yeah, so I've
So
been
you're
in part
very
of Owlet for a
familiar.
while.
Very familiar with Owlet. Very cool. Well, nice to have you over here in Overwatch Tranquility as well. Glad to have moved over to this as well and joined you here. So, not that I still don't love Owlet. I still am involved with what they do, but glad to branch out as well. And tonight we have a couple of players. We have Retro in 38, who actually just played in the match between Chrysalis and Firefight. So welcome, guys. How are you two doing?
I'm alive, I guess. I'm doing all right. How about you?
Doing good. Thank you for coming and joining us tonight. Well, we chatted a little bit before the match, and we decided that we wanted to go over the map on Oasis. But before that, Nevino, I wanted to chat a little bit about what you wanted to focus on tonight.
Oh yeah, so big thing and it's like Capital, if he's in chat, will make a joke about how marsupial teams only play Brawl, but it is near and dear to my heart, being tempo, speed of play, doing all these things correctly. Like if you're playing fast enough, especially at like the SRs, that unless you're in Owl, right, you can mainly win games just by out tempoing teams, and so it's very important to understand the give and take of tempo in Overwatch.
Right. I think that's an excellent point. And real quick, for those of you who are watching along in chat, feel free to ask any questions because we are live. We are doing this live right now. So any questions you all have as we go, be sure to drop them in chat. I'll be checking in on it periodically, so I'll ask Nevino any of the questions you wanted to pass along. But let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about Oasis. And first, I would like to look at City Center. So can you talk about like some of the key points here on the map, Nevino?
All right. Well, now we're going to attempt this now. Okay.
Yes.
So. Oh wait. Okay. I have to figure out like how far over I have to draw.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So, when it comes to City Center, there's jump pad right here.
Yep.
Wow, this is gonna look really rough. But
it's okay. Everybody's used to it.
It's a really big point for dive comps and anything that's kind of like with a ball, Winston, Diva, anything like that. You want to really control jump pad if you just want to control high ground. Now, what's become popular in more recent times is if you look over here, these stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is not where I meant, but we'll try that one more time.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, those stairs, right? The little ones right behind the the center
right
pillar.
The point.
Yeah.
If you're playing like Orisa Diva, that's a really good place to hold because you kind of are blocking sight lines from over here.
Mm-hmm.
And as you block sight lines from over here with the pillar, it allows you to just like sustain. And anyone that's ever played this map knows that this is a stall fest just because of the point structure. So it can be really good for you in that way. So if you're playing though Brawl or anything else, like majority of your engages are going to be up here at
right.
pad.
Yeah.
Because high ground is king in most comps. Like if you're running a sim, you want to go up there. If you're running just normal Brawl, you want to go up there. You control the high ground, you control the point. The Orisa Diva is very unique in that way, where like it wants to kind of play over here and bunker down.
Right.
Because if it bunkers down, it can sustain through the dives to the poke.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now let's take a quick moment and let's chat about University, because that's going to be the second one that we look at tonight. So what can you highlight for us that's important about this map? This sub-map, rather.
So a lot of teams like to run Sim May here, in my experience. And if you're running Sim May, this like little side corridor thing
Right.
is really important because if you take it here and you can get there first, like you can kind of like play out through the choke and kind of go wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're running a ball or something, like usually you'll have a split push and some people will take the high ground over here. But I find a majority of teams like to fight in the small room I circled or in this area.
Really? So not even at the point.
No, like they will, like especially first fight. But like if your team is like playing brawl or 6-man or any type of like rush down comp, the idea of the name of the game, like you should want to anyway, take fights early and hold these two chokes right here before they get to point. Like
Gotcha.
these chokes right here are super important. And if you can, and then if you push out, like a lot of people, you gotta realize the most vulnerable point of brawl or any type of like rush comp is in the transition. So if you
Yes.
attack them during transition, which is like this open space, like right here, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because wherever they're trying to rotate to, if you hit them during that point, like you can control the fight, especially and also use ults. Like imagine doing a noon or a window where like you're facing all this open real estate. There's not a lot of places to take cover in that area unless they go down, right? That's also why picks are important because if you picks like your default fallback position is gonna be point. Oh wait, that's the wrong place to circle. Right here is where you're gonna fall back to and probably
Okay.
play more towards the back side if you're like if you're just trying to hold point without losing people, right? And then the same idea occurs though, because if you hold point, because look how much wide open space is this point, right? If you hold point and they re-engage onto you and like they just have ultimates, they can come from the small side room, right? And they can
Right.
like window and blizzard and all and noon, all these things on the point. You can even do it with high ground, like high ground. Oh, you get what I mean. If you can do it
Yes.
from high ground, you can also do it from the main choke. Just holding point, like in my opinion, and like a way I've seen it played a lot of times, is just kind of disadvantageous because of how wide open it is.
So that's interesting.
You know,
So you suggest actually falling back to like more of your side of the map and hold just that corner. Try and keep that when you're defending if the attacking team has pushed up far.
yeah, I would say if you're like for example, let's say you win the fight, but you lose 3 of your people. So it's like you have a point, but they're gonna get back a 6 first,
Right.
So instead of holding up, you don't want to hold up. You want to play closer to your team so when they come back, you play the backside and just kind of like you literally just leave a toe in there. You leave like a single pinky toe in the water,
Right.
right? And then as soon as you come back, you re-engage a 6 because they're gonna flood into point. Many people won't like pay attention, like they'll just take point. When in reality, if they posture from like this area over here, they're much better on a retake because like they have much more cover and much better places to like. Your BAP can just play the back of this hallway and heal for days without getting hurt. While if he heals from main while you guys are on point, like they have so many avenues to flank and hurt him because if he jumps or if he just walks forwards a little bit, he gets stuck, right?
Right.
While if you play over here, right, your BAP can kind of just heal and like heal bot into this room.
Right. Right.
So if you're retaking like say it's a 6v3 or whatever, and you're retaking like they're backing up, I always want to take either this room or you can do the same thing with high ground. Just like if you're running a Rhine comp, I think a majority of people are going to take the small room.
Right.
High ground is good if you're running more poke. Like if you're running Orisa, I go high ground every time. If you're running Orisa or Winston.
Okay.
But if you're playing like a Rhine comp, which is really popular in university,
Yes.
the small room.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That's a great intro, I think, to those two sub maps. So really, really appreciate that. And let's go ahead and jump into the game now. So, like, oh wait, that is the wrong preview. Hold on a second. Map previews. There we go. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for Oasis. Hollywood was last week. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the map. And before we do that, though, I just want to hear from both of the players. What are some things in particular that you would like for us to look at? So I'll start with you, Retro. What's something in particular that you want to go over today? You want to take a look at?
Mainly positioning as a team, and dive timing.
Positioning as a team and dive timing. Okay, excellent. And how about you, 38?
I would actually say tempo because I could tell from comms when we were playing that we were rushing it a bit. Target priority was also a problem.
Okay, so let me just review to make sure. So we're talking, what was yours again, Retro?
Dive timing and team positioning.
Dive timing and team positioning, and then tempo and target priority. Dive timing and positioning. I'm going to write that down real quick. All right. Well, I've got the map queued up now, so let's go ahead and get into that. Nevino, take us away. I had to redo your original camera, so but it is all back under your control now, so take it where you'd like to.
Cool. All right, so we're going to start kind of where I talked about initially. Since neither of you are running Orisa Diva, I'm going to assume none of you are going to take little stairs. So if you do, we'll talk about why not to, but we're just going to start here.
Capture the objective.
So, I have a question first. One of the things I want to talk about is win cons, because it really does affect your tempo, because like if you know what your win con is, then you know what else to do. When you're running a Mei Doom with Winston Diva, what is your goal here, 38?
I'm not gonna lie, we weren't focused at that point, and our DPS thought we were still going Brawl.
Okay.
Oh no.
So, here's what I'll say then, real quickly. If you are going to play something like, because a lot of teams, especially like the plat level, are going to play comfort picks. You know, Mei and Doomfist could be a comfort pick for all I know. If you're going to do that, what I would look to do is use walls to set up dives and just play super, like, use your Mei as more of a, like, opportunistic, like, bodyguard for your supports, but also, like, engager with your tanks, and your Doomfist, like, your Doomfist only gets value if you guys go in.
Okay.
If you're going to play this. I do not recommend playing this comp. I'm just going to make that clear first. I do not recommend this. Chrysalis comp's pretty, like, typical. Like, it's 6-man with Somber Tracer. Like, very popular at this point. You see a lot of teams run ball, but, like, frankly, like, at this SR, unless, like, you're just mechanically gifted or, like, you have the comms to back it up, it's going to be hard to really get full value out of a ball. And there's even a reason you don't see, like, you see Orisa Diva in these, like, I hate saying easier comps, but quote-unquote easier in terms of synergy-wise. Comps played at lower levels, which is also why Brawl is really popular, because it's pretty easy to teach, but hard to master. It is hard to teach ball and hard to master ball. So yeah. So let's watch how this first fight plays out. I'm probably going to, like, if you guys, you're probably going to lose this first fight, I assume, just from everything I've heard. Yep.
From Firefight, yeah. And a real quick, Firefight is on the right side, and that is Chrysalis on the left. We've got the overlay on stream, but not here.
Okay, you know what? So let's. Oh, so at least antagonize switches to Tracer, gets to pick up Chovy. So let's go back and. I kind of want to see how Chovy died here, to be honest. Because he really shouldn't have, to be honest. Oh, this kind of lags a little. Hold on. Okay. So first, they get a big ante. Like, you get that first pick, like 38 gets a nice ante onto their tanks. But I would say, like, if you're playing 6-man 38, you kind of want to use. You either need to hit the ante nade like super early, or save it for yourself to sustain.
All right.
Those are your two choices. Because if you use it at any other points, you're just gonna die. And see, you're just gonna die here. Now that being said, you guys have chunked them down because I'm chunked down Chovy, and Chovy gets a kill, and then I'm not really sure why Chovy's health is not going back up. Where's the Moira? Wait, actually, where is your Moira? What I would say here is it just seems like y'all, like, you win the fight, so it's fine, But when you're playing into this, and especially like when you get hit by anti-nades and stuff, you're probably just gonna want to like one your diva needs to pay attention to it because it's a win con. Like a win con for Honor Brig is anti-nades in many ways till you build Nano.
Mm.
Uh, and yeah, Chovy just kind of just got bursted, which is unfortunate, but whatever. So let's watch when you guys actually have a fight. I didn't watch the game tonight, so I really don't know like how it went. I mentioned I was in scrims. Oh, nice hack, nice hack. Okay, so my number one question here is like, first, a 6-man. Why did you not finish and kill the tanks? I guess that's the retro in a way. Obviously, if you don't remember, you don't have to say, but like it inherently. So like when people say tempo, it's not like people saying, "Oh, we're rushing stuff." Like that's not tempo. That's making indecisive decisions and making wrong decisions. When you are playing 6-man, even though you lost Chobi, you had like 3 picks. You push through out and finish kills because you have the Moira sustain to do it. If you do that, Moira's probably closer to Cole. And once you get Cole, you start snowballing alts. Once you start snowballing alts, you win the point. And now, like, if Coco doesn't die here... Actually, does Coco die? I hope Coco should die. Like, if I am, like, Retro, Skep, like, y'all need to, like, int onto this kill. Because you have DM. You have a Moira. Like, the thing is, like, you guys are playing this, like, I would say... You're playing it almost like you're playing on a break. Where you're, like, playing for poke and playing for all these things, when, in, like, in reality, this comp is an all-in inting kind of comp. They have no mech, even. Like, y'all literally could have finished this fight because their Brig's not even back yet. If you just push out, use Bubble, you kill Baby, you could have killed Coco, the Winston, right? And then you just snowball, they probably don't even get a fight till 40%. That is what I mean by tempo here.
Okay.
Like, you all like, that's why spawn camping is, like, actually popular at higher elos as well. Because it gives you... Oh, lag. Oh. But see, like, you know, you just take an engage. Like, why are we letting them? Okay, sorry, I'm not trying to sound over critical. I just sound like this in general. Why are we holding here when? So, I guess my question is to you, Retro. What do you think the win con is of 6-man?
Don't
You there?
squishies, build EMP.
Okay. I didn't hear the first part. What'd you say the first part?
Firestone squishies, build
Okay.
EMP, going with Cole. Things just like quick get in and burst them down.
Yeah, so generally, yes. So the biggest win con, like first fight, it's just you need to collapse on a target. Whether that with hack, whether that with all 6 of you. And then you want to hold chokes and not allow them to enter through chokes. Because when you allow them to enter like through here, right? Through this choke, you are allowing them to take the space that their DPS and their Brig Ana want so they can like see you and do damage. But if you're holding down here and can just, you never let them walk in, they never are able to do anything because you have the Moira sustain, and then you build Cole, and then you get to the true win con of 6-man, and that is snowballing ults. Ana Brig actually does a really good job of snowballing ults too. That's why you run the Winston Diva. That's why you run the Ana, because you just snowball ults. You want to build Nano, you want to build all these things, and you just keep cycling and cycling and cycling. But the biggest thing of 6-man is you guys want to hold up in here. Like, if you win that first fight, like, you want to play with like this alpha chat energy of like they're not going to even touch the point again. But you're giving them free space here. The only person you lost was Chobi, right? And Chobi's back now.
So
It's
my
one thing-
question...
Oh,
My
yeah.
question is, if they want to hold there, who holds there? Because I'm assuming the tanks are going to hold the high ground. Or do you just mean that, like, once the enemy team positions in that choke, then you dive on them?
No, your tanks hold down here.
Your tanks
So-
actually hold down there. Okay.
So your tank, the whole idea of 6-man is that you're piling on one target. But what's nice is like you don't want to use, since you are playing 6-man. Generally, I say generally, you won't use your jump to engage. That's why you hold choke, so you just cleave for free with walk-in, and then you jump back to high ground where you have resources.
Okay.
But since you're playing the Moira, like if you're playing an Ana, like Shanghai ran an Ana Lucio variant of this, where instead of the Moira they ran Ana, your Ana would just sit high ground to do that. But in this case, sorry. You hold here, and then you can jump back to stairs that we talked about, or you can jump to Mega. Like, you can just, like, buy space and then re-engage. You can, like, jump in and out, like, at will, and you're just waiting for an opportunity for one of them to mess up. But giving them free space allows them to set the engage. Once they set the engage, you lose, like, the advantage of running 6-man, which is, like, initiation power.
So another thing that I wanted to ask real quick, that was great because I think it started to get into, a little bit of what Retro was wanting to know, which was positioning, right? And so getting into a little bit of the positioning there is really good. But what can you tell us about dive targets as well for the 6-man dive into this comp?
Oh, I mean, your insta target is pretty much always going to be the Ana. The Kree's not even a bad target because after flashbang, he's kind of useless. Like, you just DM and you just kill him. And then Brig. Or, actually, funnily enough, when Koala Kings played Firefight last season in the Grand Finals, we based our 6-man dive around hacking Chuster and jumping Chuster, who was off tank at the time, Diva. Because they like to play ball Diva last season's Firefight. And you can also do it. You can play that way. You can hack the Diva. Once the Diva's out of mech, you have free reign. Like, what are they going to do? Right? And your Moira has a decent amount of damage. Especially once you have Cole. Like, you want to initiate with an ult. Like, that's why Cole's so good. And Hayes is kind of slow to build Cole because y'all did not take an aggressive first fight. Like, you're not taking damage. You just kind of won because they were on a messed up comp. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch how this plays out. I kind of rambled.
No, it's all good. This is, I think this is good stuff. 30 and Retro, you guys feeling like, any questions actually so far?
All systems checked out.
No.
Okay, cool.
Nothing yet. We're all good.
Okay, but okay, so something that just happened. You saw how Coco jumps up here and then drops out and goes back around and gets out without dying. You are then they're going to build Nano off that, right? And once they build Nano, your comp actually starts to get hurt. Because Anna Brig versus 6-man wants to watch you guys, like, if they're retaking, they want to jump you before you do anything. Like, just get at you. And then block you off from getting to your Anna Brig, because then they just out-sustain you, right? And in the mid-fight, their Brig walks up and brawls and gives even more sustain, right? So you guys are sitting there and, like, just letting them do stuff for free. Like, in Control, this works. In Control, this actually works pretty well because you have point. And we talked about this as stall fest, right? But what y'all should want to do is, like, when they were walking up, they were you had, like, their back line here, the front line here. You just jump their back line. Like, if you're going to set up high ground, use it as a jump to jump their back line. And then you bubble, and they have to commit into the bubble to do anything, and then they can't even heal the tanks that are coming to help them because you have bubble down. So a lot of people think that just saying tempo is just hold W, ooga booga. What it is knowing when to push advantages. And I also always had, like, a thing where, like, there's some comps that you're going to win if you play slower. There's some comps you're going to win if you play faster. 6-man, you are inherently, in this matchup, going to win if you play faster. They're going to win if you play slower, because they have a Kree, they have an Ana, they have a Brig. They have more sustain over time. They have more damage over time. Your Moira's front-loaded. These people are really front-loaded, but with the Moira Lucio, you don't have the poke aspect. So, let's watch how this goes. Like, we're still just kind of sitting here. The Honor Brig takes positioning for free. And you're probably going to kill oh, you don't kill the Winston. But this is a nice bomb. But see, like, you see how you kind of just let the Kree sit there and he kills 2? If y'all let them take the space, and yes, you trade it, but now they've built Nano. Now their Kree sitting there doing damage. Now, like, their Ana and their Kree just have all these sight lines onto you as you literally kind of just stood there and dueled with the tank, right? And if you don't melt the tank instantly, which is hard unless you hack them, right? Because they can jump out. They probably will build primal off it. Like, you have an honor brig pocketing him. You're just going to lose in that poke war because you're playing, like, too slow. But Retro, you do a nice job cleaning up here. But if they focus... Do they kill Lucio? They do not kill Lucio. And then a big reason... But Carlson gets another kill. And another kill. You see, the longer the fight goes, the more it favors them.
Yeah, that's really interesting to see it happen in real time. This Cole comes in big, though.
Yeah, and because of that, Retro gets those picks. In scrappier fights, a Tracer or a Moira with Cole is just going to win. And, like... So now let's talk about pace of play for Firefight. Who lose this? And
I have one quick question for you, actually. Who is the target priority for Firefight? Right? Who are they looking to take out in the 6-man dive?
They don't really look at it's hard to say because ideally, right? They're so grouped up that they don't have a single target. But a good person to do is you want to like force out cooldowns. Like, it's not so much you're focusing a dive target, you're just forcing out cooldowns.
Oh.
And once you force out Fade, the Moira's pretty good. If you force the Sombra TP out, you are now in a 5v6, right? Or like all these people can scatter really well. But as long as you sustain the initial engage, you in theory should start pulling picks back. You saw Carlson do it. You saw the Nano come in, right? But the big thing is like, Truth hit a bomb, kills the Brig, so you don't have that Brig sustain. You don't have Rally. Then you have Retro that just wins the Tracer duel and goes in the back line. And he starts getting kills, right? You have Chobi that comes back and gets kills. Then you finally have the true win con, which is Hayes' Cole, which can finish off kills and sustain everyone as you go forward, right? Because a big reason I think that Crystals are going to win this point is because they had first cap. I think if they don't get first cap, Firefight does a pretty good job of playing slow and waiting for picks, but they also just take way too long to take initiative. Like, you want to, like, Nano is used reactively. I want you to use Nano proactively, 38. Like, I want you and Coco to just be like, all right, screw this. Alpha Chat Energy just jumping in there. Like, let's say they're holding here like they were. Like, all 6 of them are holding there except the Tracer and Sombra or some are, like, wherever. If you jump in with Nano, they have no way to boop you away other than if the D.Va hits a really nice play and just boops you away. So their reaction is probably going to try and dive you guys after you land. But what's nice is, if that happens, you are going to force the Moira to fade into the team. You're going to force everyone to use cooldowns just to get in. And once you force people to use the cooldowns, as long as you sustain and keep your Ana alive, and this is where the nade comes in, 38. So, let's say you nano, but you also throw a nade and hit a fat ante on them, right? They can't then go in, they just force to back up, and then they panic, then they lose, right? Or, you don't do an ante, and you're playing the more reactive way, and they come in here, and you just have bait out DM, and then just nade yourself to sustain through the fight till your Winston then jumps back in, and probably gets 1 to 2 seconds more of Nano. Because Nano lasts, I think, 7 seconds, maybe 8 seconds. Is what I'm saying making sense?
I'm following it, yeah, but players?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sort of eating at the moment.
Yeah, no worries.
So, you want to use stuff like that proactively. Bomb, like, not necessarily as proactive, especially in the 6-man. You can use it as a deterrent, because let's say you have Nano and they do the jump thing. They come in, you eat all this stuff, and if you lose mech, you just bomb, and they have trouble pushing you again, because it's like an area control effect. You have Noon, you can, like, all your ults basically control space for your Honor Brig, except Nano and Pulse, which are really good engage and picked potential tools. And yes, you can engage with the other two, but they also just do a great job of controlling space. Also, inherently, if they have EMP, the faster you play, the better it's going to be for you, because you want to force the EMP to be used in a bad place. So either the two options are, you try and time Rally, where you use Rally as the EMP, or you just play so fast they don't get a good EMP, and ideally, like, you kind of sustain through it. Ideally.
I never thought of that like option of like countering an EMP by just forcing them to use it in a bad place by playing quickly.
Actually, that's why Reaper became popular a couple times, because Reaper, if you EMP him, he still has like all his damage, his passive, his everything.
Right.
The only thing he doesn't have is fade. So if he's in the if you EMP a whole team and you're in the middle of the team, the monkey tries to kill you, you still out damage a monkey as an EMP Reaper.
Right.
So let's watch how this plays out. I'm assuming you guys do you guys even get a touch?
I think we get one, maybe.
This is a really nice kill. Carlton's done a really good job of just playing well. I like EMP. What I do not like is the EMP did not seem everyone else was ready. Like, Carlton gets 2 picks because Skep, like, just kind of stood there and no one else was ready. Like, Chobi jumps in and is like 1 HP as they're jumping in because he took so long to jump in. Right? And they kill him. Yeah, you don't commit ults here. I really like this call. Like, y'all just don't commit ults. You just call it lost. This is really good. Like, this is a really good job of, like, not committing in a potentially lost fight. Well, actually, I already lost fight. Come on. And see, I understand. So, 38. I understand that you want to swap Moira to try and get back to the point. But if you have a Tracer Monkey, like, you have to trust them that they can touch. Your Ana's inherently going to get more value in the long run. Because you have to be optimistic that your team's going to retake.
Okay.
Because you still...
I think at that point we just called for 6 man. I don't know why we were on break.
Probably because you still had Rally at the time.
Yeah, I think it was because you still had Rally, yeah. And Brig hasn't died yet, yeah.
But see, actually, like, this is really good how you're... Like, you see how they held up? Like... You see how they just held up here? And, like, you know, Ace actually hits a nice boop back on the Chobi, by booping them back. Skep gets picked. And, like, they're just sustaining. And Chobi's low, so you have them using resources and cooldowns to keep him alive. And Coco lives. Like, they literally do a really good job here of just holding that choke and not pushing too far and just preventing them from walking. A big reason that Crystals had trouble is because they let them walk free through chokes. I don't like this. I do not like that, sir. Oh, wait, you have Primal?
Yes, Primal, yeah. I was questioning it too. I was like, what is this dive? But it makes sense.
He does that a couple times.
He does, okay.
Nice beats. But Cole's probably going to win them this. Or do we get a big new? Oh, nice Primal from Chobi. Okay.
Gotta say, that was a really good stall from Firefight right there.
Like,
they were able to pull it to
honestly,
65.
They got to 65 because I felt like... So, you know, I'm going to go back real quick. So, yes, we know Crystals are going to win this. But we're going to go back. I want to show y'all one thing real quick. So, they flip. How many fights do you guys think you should get before it hits 99?
I think 3.
Yeah, 3.
4.
I would say 3. 3 is a good number. Y'all really only had 1. Both teams really only had 1 fight this entire time. Okay, actually, I'll give... So there was the first fight, then there was a second extended fight, which led to them finally capping. You know, which, like... So this is like the 4th fight in the entire map right here. This is the 4th fight. And so here's at 5%. We're going to speed this up a little bit. So, you see how you guys go over around here? Like, this is a cool idea. I like this idea. Now, what do y'all think you did wrong here?
And who are you asking?
Sorry, Crystals.
Probably trying to fight the front line.
Yeah. You should just, like, you don't have an honor brig to protect. Also, like, I want to also make clear, an honor brig mirrors, or even brig Zen mirrors, trading backlines is completely normal and completely fine. Your Zen or your Ana are sacrificial lamb. Let them die. Like, obviously, if there's a single tracer on them, like peel and stuff, but, like, in the macro sense, trading backlines is completely okay. Like, why are we just poking and prodding at them? See, like, 20%. If y'all just jump past, like, they have no ults. If you just, like, Retro, you had a good idea, like, trying to go deep here, right? Like, I see, and you force recall out because your team's not there. So, like, what I would say is, and also Skep gets caught out in large part because they went too deep and when tanks weren't ready. Like, you all have to just engage deep. Like, you can, and this is one of the few times I'll say, you have beat and they have nothing for it. Just beat in. Like, I hate beat engages, but you could, like, if you're alt tracking correctly, that they used everything in the farm to bring it back, so you can go deep. Like, Chobi can also go deep by himself, and then use Primal to live, and then the rest of other 5 of you burn down the monkey, because they're all going to look at the Primaling monkey in their backline. Like, it feels like we're just, like, we're treating this like true brawl, where it's like dueling front lines, when in reality, you want to go over him. And you want to take that space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, the reason you win is, if I'm being honest, kind of a mechanical difference. Like, you guys just kind of out-mechanic them and use your ults pretty smartly, and you get value out of your ultimates. And, like, once Hayes gets Cole, it's like, and they, Order, I think, held on to beat probably a little too long, but, like, they had those ults to sustain, and once they stack those ults, like, you are not going to build Rally that fast, right? Now, I recognize that, like, they wanted to use Rally last fight, so whatever. But I really like this hold from Firefight. It's just, if Chrysalis easily wins this, if they just say, screw the front line, and go back. So yeah, because if you, like, literally, if you jump the brig, because the brig's kind of held, like, look how far up the brig's holding.
Mm-hmm.
If Chobi just bubbles the brig, right? You put a bubble right here. The Moira then has to fade into the bubble, so the Kree has to break it to do damage. And so, like, you're forcing them into a tight space that benefits you. Because you want to take those fast fights, so you have Moira healing. And you have beat. As soon as someone goes low, you just beat. And then you have Primals to sustain as well. I want to emphasize this. Chrysalis does a really good job of individual plays to keep them in fights. Macro sense, I think you guys are lacking a little bit in terms of, like, when to play fast, when to play slow. You're playing this like a brawl and not like a dive. Like, and a lot of people are like, oh, 6-man's just rush. It's only really rush in the mirror.
Oh.
Because you do want to, like, you are rushing, but you're still diving targets. It's a 6-man dive onto a target. In the mirror, it's suicide use jump to jump in, because then you just get burned. But if you're playing it on a brig, like, you can pile on 6 using cooldowns to pile on, because once you kill the on a brig, they don't have to sustain to win the fight anyway. If that makes sense.
That does. And that helps me at least understand the difference between how you play the comp when you're doing a mirror and not. Because, yeah, I heard something similar. You play it front to back, but that's just in the mirror matchup.
And, like, because if you're walking and taking the space versus a Kree comp, you're just going to take so much poke. And they can just rotate away, right? In the mirror, like, they don't have that same luxury. You both have the same cooldowns and everything. But versus a Kree comp, they can just keep rotating away. You have to close distance at some point. And you don't have a Rhine shield to, like, shield you on the way in. But the fact that they're holding, the idea is like, 6-man's so good is because if you are doing it correctly, one thing that I think teams struggle with is they're like, oh, my Moira can't go there. If your tanks jump up here, like, say they're holding up here, your Moira comes right here. I don't know how, I don't want to say that, like, because my initial, the P, or whatever it is, the healing, can reach up to 15 meters. Or I think it's, like, between 10 and 15. So it can actually go pretty far up there, and all your tanks have to do is just drop off high ground. It's like a soft dive. If you don't get a pick immediately, you drop off and get healed back up, and then you jump back up again. Like, just pay attention to where your Moira is. Okay, that's my rant about 6-man and mirror versus not mirror. All right, let's go on to the next point. How long have we been going?
About 40 minutes right now. So yeah, we're doing pretty good on time.
Cool. Ah, yes, the brawl mirror.
Yep.
as capitalists would say, my specialty. Um,
And real quick, any questions from chat? Feel free to post them. Especially if you had any questions about the last map, we'll still get to them and answer them. But yeah, any questions y'all have, feel free to drop them.
oh, and a side note, if you're playing 6-man into double shield or Orisa Diva, the biggest thing you all have to realize is like jumping in then is also suicide because they're so grouped, right? It's like playing in the mirror in a way, but except instead of them actually mirroring you, they have an Orisa Diva that just melts you, right? So what you do is you start walking up, you walk up, you walk up, you force them to rotate, then you jump them in rotation.
Got a question from chat from Azukari. What do you do on 6-man against Afara?
You just have to play faster, to be honest. Also, like a really, I think an underrated. So
play faster and ignore the Farah, right? Is that
you can play that game, but as we watched in Owl, if you're a really good Farah, it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
So, actually, I was talking to John about this a while ago. He's done some coaching for our civil teams, and he coached like British Hurricanes and stuff, and like he's a really cool guy. I like having him around. Double flanker really screws up a pharmacy. And a lot of people are like, oh, but you don't kill the Farah. Like, you kill the Mercy, though.
Yeah.
You kill the Mercy, then your Diva by itself can kill a Farah. So if you're playing let's say you play Somber Tracer 6-man, like do not play a Reaper into Farah. Do not. Like it works if the Farah isn't getting enough value where you just play faster and you just melt stuff. But if you play Somber Tracer, like your Diva, your Somber, and your Tracer all just looks for the Mercy at all times. Because you're taking so many different angles, and like as long as you are interrupting her like auto heal, it will be easy to kill her. Once she kills her, you kill the pharmacy, and you just win. But also another thing is like if you just win first fight by playing faster, it's so much harder to retake as far than it is to hold. It is so much harder because you can just kind of hide and move around, and like the entire time you're waiting your Farah to get in a position is time that you're getting a percentage. Or you're getting progress or whatever.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So... Ooh. Wait.
Wow.
What? Wait.
Oh, you're still on 1.5 speed. I was like, man, that was a fast speed boost.
No. I'm just like, Carlton.
Was he late out of spawn?
Why you do this to me?
Hey, wait. Why is he?
He TP gel out and then switched to Kree.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
So,
he did.
In general, in the mirror, I actually think Sim Brawl will win most of the time unless your Kree is just really good. Now that being said, Carlton has shown his Kree is quite good. But y'all pushed without your main damage dealer. And you just lose because of it. But I really love this aggressive, like even though Skep has a kind of like a pretty suspect wall, but so does Antagonize. These are not what I would call ideal walls.
What do you mean they're perfect?
I would not call these ideal.
They're they're like perfectly mirrored from each other.
I know. I was like, wow, they really did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go back. I forgot I had a 1.5 speed, so we're gonna go back to normal. But let's watch it. Like, oh, and your Ryan's gonna die because he holds that.
That seemed like some better aggression to me from Chrysalis that time compared to like the first map, like just taking those extra kills.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Retro gets picked, but like that in many ways is fine because it's a sim who can come back rather quickly. You know, because they'll have TP.
Right.
I like this hold, but at the same time, like, oh, I like this window too. See, this is tempo I like. Now, and I think, and here's my theory with people that struggle in the 6-man versus brawl aggression. Like, yes, they can play very similar tempos, but it's so much easier as a main tank to play aggro as hell as a Reinhardt with a giant hammer and shield. You have inherently more sustain more regularly as a Reinhardt in terms of like playing it like rush. Like, yes, Reinhardt does get bullied. Like, don't like Ryan is such a bad tank at high elos right now because of how much he gets bullied. Give me back 550 HP, Reinhardt. Or does he still? He doesn't have 500.
Nope,
He's
he's
the
just down to
shield,
500. Yeah.
Give me back 2K shield, fam.
I missed that shield.
But they did a really good job there. Chrysalis did a really good job of then using ult to maintain space. Like Hayes hits in like a really nice window. Like, yes, it didn't look like it got value, but as soon as they that's the wrong thing. As soon as they put it like right here, right, they controlled all this space. And as you saw, right, it's what I talked about before. Oh wait. Firefight kind of just came in through here, right? So if I was Chobi, like a good thing to do is if you set up TP, you can set up a TP here between the two rooms and just go back and forth, depending where they want to push. But then once they start filming in here, like Hayes just puts this window down, sustains everyone as well as controls space. Because then their BAP and their healers can't really peek here because they'll just get melted. Because if Hayes is paying attention, he can just like one clip him or one tap him, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So like Window's really good at controlling space like that. That was pretty good. I like that. Like Reggie gets picked, unfortunate, but like the response is good. And the wall wasn't even that bad from Antagonize. It's more so the fact that, like, Kree has to be hitting.
Quick question right here. Should Chobi be holding up further in that choke to prevent Coconut and the rest of Firefight from moving in? Just because you were talking about that. Okay, yeah.
I personally, as a Brawl player... Now, that being said, it also does change a little bit because you're playing Sim. Since you are playing Sim... Because Sim is more short-ranged, right? What I talked about actually was a lot of people assuming they're playing the Kree Brawl. But if you play Sim, you have the TPs here and here, as I talked about, right? And if you have the TPs there and there, like, you just control each choke coming into point. And it's like, what are they going to do? If they go high ground, you just hide underneath them. And you force them to drop, and then your Sim gets value. But if I'm playing Kree, I'm holding right here. Windowing out here, nooning out here, bombing out here, all in the open, because like all my ultimates get value in the open. But they did a really great. They identified that they don't have a Kree, right? So why would they want to take the open range fight versus a Kree when they have short range damage in a Sim? Where is this TP going? I don't hate the high ground TP, but in general, like all they have to do to really kill that, right? Is they can shoot it. The Kree can literally shoot it from like right here. I'm pretty sure. Or if they just go high ground, right? Yeah, like what's the point of meeting them? Right? So this would be my note for you is like, think about like, if you TP there, what are you guys going to do? And most of the time, you're probably just going to drop off the high ground and hide in here again. Because when you're playing Sim, you want to force them in these close quarter engages. So that's why a popular TP spot is like in this little corner or even in the cubby itself.
I would not have expected that. That's good. That's good to know.
Which is why so many Sim teams will hold here.
Right.
And if they take point, you just TP behind them, and then like you have like an avenue to do damage. And once you get on the Kree dies. Because like a lot of teams, if you're holding here, will walk in through here, right? And then just look at you to do damage. You TP back over here. If they don't destroy TP, the Kree is probably positioned back here because he's trying to get a wider angle, and you kill him. Or you window from here, and they can't do anything. And then your Ryan TP, like your tanks TP behind and do damage. Like there's just so many ways that like if they walk into point, you are making a kill box as Brawl with a Sim.
Right.
So this is why I like Brawl. There's like so many intricacies that a lot of people don't think about. A lot of people think it's just ooga booga. We left click at each other.
Excellent use there of the of the sound cues, the or the voice lines rather.
I didn't know. I don't have sound. I don't think I can hear sound.
Oh yeah, you can't hear the sound. That's right.
But you see, my mouse.
Oh no.
Wait, can my mouse work? Oh, there it is. There it is. Wait, is it there?
Oh, hold on. Give me just a second. Overlays got screwed up just a little bit. Now we're good. There we go. Your mouse is back.
Okay. So what we saw there, they tried a window back here to control the space. If I'm them, I'm walking a little farther forward and then windowing like right here. Because like if you window like that, you can kind of just angle it to go the entire point. Their window here only controls like 38. Your window here only controls this lane. You window like here or even here. You control here, you control here, here. Like you control anyone crossing. This
I was
you only
just
control
trying to
the
get us. I was just trying to get a space for us to push in. I knew there was people behind, and I already died to the turrets in the fight earlier.
So, and the reason they have this set up because they know you guys want to push here. If I'm playing the Kree, like this is actually where I would take high ground, actually, right? Now, like, and that's being said, like I like personally, like I prefer Sim on this point. But if you take high ground, oh my gosh, it's mouse. If you take high ground here, and then you window up here, you control the point, you force them to drop underneath you, right? And then you could just like drop on them in mail, like and use your mail to then finish the fight, as long as you don't let Truth eat it, of course, right?
Okay.
You want to create avenues for your DPS to do damage when you run the Kree. You want to create avenues for poke. Chrysalis wants to play faster, more aggressive in your face because they're running a sim. Because once Sim's in the fight, they build beam, they kill you. And you saw they used wall. Like Retro had a really nice wall. Like Retro, this is a really great wall. Just like pushing it across here, and then you took space with it. You took the space because you're like, oh, they windowed, so let me just put a wall here and we can walk behind them. They can't really do anything about it, right? Truth bombs, like not necessarily the most needed bomb, but you bombed, like they bombed, and it worked. Or it didn't really work. It just it distracted them, right? And allowed you to close space. And once you close distance, you win the fight. And see now. Scat. Oh. I don't even know what I just witnessed.
Whoa.
What? Excuse them, well? I don't really know. Okay, we're gonna go back and watch that. Because I'm trying to figure out what the heck just happened. So.
That was messy.
Very much so. So actually, this wall from Antagonize is quite nice. But you notice how they're coming back. And half of you want to hold up there, half of you want to hold back there. You have to just pick. Like, yes, I said holding up here isn't advantageous to you as a sim comp than a Kree comp, right? But it could still work if you want it to work. If you just play fast, hit it in transition.
Okay.
That's just like, it depends on the flavor you want to go with. But see, you have the four of you here, and then you're coming high ground, right? If you're a Kree, this is good because you have multiple lanes of damage, stuff like that, whatever. You're taking off angles. But a sim, I would say you're going to get more value in general, Retro, playing with your Rhine, just because of beat. But let's watch this. So, but see, we give up choke. Right? If the reason this wall works, I think Antagonize wanted to wall Chobi, right? But this wall still works because you block all LOS of your team. And Skep's gonna be like, oh, they're gonna push this wall. Even though they don't, because they're like, why are we gonna push this wall when we can they see a sim over here, let's just speed onto the sim and then take high ground back. Right? They destroy your TP, they control point. So, I'm pretty sure, and then, so you start crossing, this is a really good cross, like the Blizzard, yes, it splits them, right? I don't know why your Lucio tries to, kind of cross through the Blizzard. I would not recommend this. This is not for your health, this is not for good for your health. You're split, but what's nice, since you ran the Kree, you have a crossfire, where if they don't push one of you instantly, you get picks, and this is kind of what happens, Carl comes in and gets a flashbang and kills your Mei, who's like not paying attention, I guess. You know, they use Immor to try and save him, but that doesn't do anything. And then your Lucio dies, like whatever. It's still a winnable fight, and it's gonna win because now you are pushing into an open-esque area. What cover do you have here? None. Also, and see, like you stay back here. Actually, I thought this was the other Baptiste for a second. I was like, but see, you can see them, you can heal, you
I
can do
got
all these
stuck
things.
behind Blizzard, yeah.
Yeah, but like you lit. That's what's important here. Like that was the right call in my opinion. Like
I'm
Skep's
surprised
Blizzard.
They didn't push me.
I also have trouble. So that was you talking 38, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said I was more surprised they didn't push me.
Yeah, but they made the call to push the core closer to them. But because they did that, right? And wait, there we go. Because they did that, they're pushing down into this open area, right? And now they're starting it back. Like this is the indecisiveness episode we're talking about, right? Tempo has like a big rule of thumb I put for my lower SR teams, like my plat teams. Until you understand nuances of engages, you either all in or you're all out. That means you all gotta go in and die, or you all gotta back out. Stagger fights is what kills a lot of things. But you see, like, there's nowhere for y'all to hide. And this bomb is placed where it is going to, like, run along the wall and hit you both sides. Like, this is, like, there's nowhere for you to hide from this bomb, other than your immortality and the shield. And because of that, it is going to kill... It's going to demech your Diva and kills your Lucio, I believe. Oh, and it kills Hayes. Because Hayes walked in front of Chobi's shield. That is unfortunate. Because you have committed, right? Also, I would love to see your support ults used more. I think my big note for the ultimates of your supports retro is order. Don't be afraid to use beats, like in a tempo situation where if you beat, you win. Because like y'all can sustain Blizzard with immortality, or just by spreading out, or just by doing a variety of things. Like it is actually pretty hard to get value out of Blizzard. Don't be afraid to beat. Just don't be afraid. But you see, they take this fight. Unless I'm watching it. Oh, okay, never mind. Rage kind of rage. And I think. See, and they're gonna take this because when you give their comp more space, like that, this goes back in to how to play your matchups, right? I talked about in the Mirror of Six-Man, like you're not jumping in, you're playing like just a walk-up cleave and do more of a brawly-esque kind of fight, right? Here, you're playing the McCree firefight. If you're playing McCree, you want to poke more. If you're poking more, you are doing better things. Sim Mei wants to rush you and get in close. You did a great job of like buying space, and you also got helped out by the fact that Chrysalis didn't commit. Chrysalis starts backing up. They're like, oh, we took losses. Let's stabilize. When in reality, them stabilizing gave Rage the opening they needed. But also, you should be looking to take this fight fast right now. They don't have mech. Like, I would be, like, they're only 50 to mech, right? Like, I would be taking this, I would be amping, being like, let's go, kids, let's go. Time to get in the backpack, let's go. And see, that in your transition is where it's going to get difficult for you because they're just going to spam you out. So, I guess, like, oh. I'm gonna watch this fight play out before I say anything else.
Let's see it get past this.
So, okay. First, it kind of goes back to like what I said about your high ground team. Like, what is Sim gonna do from high ground? Like, even with the window, which, yes, gives you more damage, what do you do? Not really a whole lot. You kind of, like, if you're lucky, you get a pick, because, like, yes, fully charged orb can one-shot a squishy. But, well, fully charged orb through the window. But, if you want TP, I would just TP behind them. and window and control point, and then use that window. Like, a lot of people think you need to use window to spam through it. You could use window just for your bat to sustain you, because you get double heals too. Like, just use it, then use that to take space as your bat pumps in damage and heals through the window. And then you accomplish the win con you wanted, right? Like, you forced out Blizzard in a horrible spot. Like, it was like you bamboozled Antagonized. Antagonized was like, they're taking this fight. He didn't see TP, and he just Blizzard's here, and Mabi, they're gone, you know? But Chobi was low ground, and they mess up window. Like, it's just like, it's a sloppy fight. Because ults get messed up, people get bamboozled. And in a scrappy fight that's more spread out, as long as your Kree is hitting shots, the Kree comp, in my opinion, will win. Unless you commit, like, unless you just have more ultimates. We're like an hour now, right? A little over an hour?
A little over an hour. Yeah, just a little over an hour. So yeah, we're good on time. Because yeah, I think this is wrapping up sometime soon. This map.
But see, and then they get picks because like you're playing in the open, right? So if I'm firefight, like yes, firefight, play in this choke, play in the forward choke, like use and just poke them out because they're going to try and rotate. The whole point of SimTP is using it to not have to rotate. Like, why walk? Like, you don't need to use TP. Like, you can just TP close to them. Once you get close to them, you get the value anyway. Oh. This is a nice bomb. Someone kill these turrets, please. Okay. I understand now what happened. The script has been written. Coco, though, starting to go to hand. Oh, big shatter. Big shatter. Okay. Now this is nice. Well, oh, flies back into Blizzard. Okay, so what happened in this fight, right? So even though like I probably would have just used TP earlier, taking the fight even sooner, right? Once you hold here, you TP in here, and you take this space, which is good. That's good. You like to hold there as Sim May. Once you hold there as Sim May, like, you can push out. And then once you push out, you start winning just in the close range brawl. Because they are scattered. Yeah, it's some up here, it's some over here, right? And you have wall. Once you use wall, you can just walk with it. And Frank, like, I understand why you threw the turrets. The turrets works because no one looked at them. Just no one looked. Like, no one. They were just here doing so much damage. You know, and I think a lot of people forget that turrets also have like different level beams, like they do more damage over time.
Do
so,
they?
Like, the longer you,
What?
the longer you leave them alone, the longer you leave them alone, the more damage they do.
I can't believe
Then it caps out.
I can't believe I did not know that. Yeah. Anyway.
I say that, and I'm like 95% certain, but someone might call me out for being Pepega later. We'll see.
We'll see if somebody in chat confirms or denies.
I swear,
that.
at least one point they used to level up like the other beams at one point. Either way.
Yes.
Y'all holding here way too long. You just need to flood out and start getting kills, and like you want to look to run on that Kree, because if you give the Kree space, he'll get kills. But as soon as you use wall, just play one side of the wall and rush whoever doesn't want to come to that side of the wall and use it to take space. Because once the sim beams up level 3, like you had the wall like I'll erase so I can see. You had the wall like down here, I want to say. You take all this real estate right here. Now you're outside. They do not have time to back up anymore. Your Ryan conserve shield, and as soon as you're like, okay, we're going past wall in 3, 2, 1, you walk past wall and you are flushing them out. Like, a lot of people forget to clear high grounds and stuff as Brawl. Like, you want to always force you want to force people to rotate. Forcing people to rotate is just so great in Overwatch if you're the aggressor, right? Especially if they're playing a pokey versus a Brawl comp. And in this, like, subsection, the McCree is more pokey, per se. In this subsection. McCree versus like an actual poke comp is Brawly. Like you see how the matchup changes. They get to find a sub matchup like in the game. I don't know. This is how I think about it personally.
Interesting.
So, and also this all changes if you're playing the sim main mirror. You're playing the sim main mirror. Like, yes, you can start posturing and doing all those things because you are even in the elements of brawl versus poke versus all that other stuff. But in this specific matchup, Carl does find picks. Carlton over here has been finding picks, which is what's helped them so much, which is why they've extended this, because they get picks and they extend the fights. Y'all, first fight you did a great job of using cooldowns to close distance and just kind of take the fight. But on the retake, it was kind of sloppy till this last point. Like, you need to use. Don't think of your ultimates as they need to get kills. Think of your ultimates as tools to take space. And if you get a kill, that's great, right? Especially stuff like window. And even if you think about it, when you're sustaining with beat, you're still taking space with it because like it allows you to walk forward instead of your instinct to back up so you don't die. Wall, same way. Blizzard, you can take space with that because you're going to push into the blizzard to kill whoever you got in the blizzard, right? Bomb allows you to take space if you do it correctly because it like forces them to take cover. Shatter, you're taking space again because you're knocking people to the ground. Then you're going forward to capitalize on kills. Think about Overwatch in taking and maintaining space. Don't think about it as kills on a kill feed. But yeah. I'll circle back for my last point, which is win.
Yes. Yeah, and before we do that, any final questions from either of you players, and as well from chat, while we start to transition?
None that I can think of. You done good. You.
I know I can just talk for hours, bro. I'm such a nerd.
Please don't.
I'm just a nerd. But so win cons. Everything I talked about kind of revolves around win cons, which is the sub matchups and everything. So wait, do I have mouse again? Hello? There it is. There it is.
Do you want to go back to that scene? I swapped scenes to our review, but I can go back to the game scene.
Oh, I was just gonna draw something.
Yeah. Go for it. Going back there for you. Okay.
Cool. So, win cons. First point, we saw Rush versus Poke again. And we saw the same sub matchup here. Just like a lot of people don't think about it the same way. So remember, Chrysalis wants to collapse and close distance. They want to use TP to give from point A to point B without taking damage and using other cooldowns. Their win con is frankly just brawling and W keying. And that's what they need to revolve their decisions around. While their win con, firefights, is they want to step somewhere and allow their Kree to do work. So we talk a lot, like there's a whole thing where people talk about being DPS reliant versus tank reliant teams. If you're a tank reliant team, usually Brawl is so much nicer to play. Just because your tanks can set tempo, set space, and just do so much. While if you're playing DPS reliant, you play like ball comps and stuff because it allows your DPS to go on Tracer or Ashe or Kree, or like just where they all their mission is just to click heads, right? Right now, I would see them Firefight relying on Carlton to get picks, but they need what I would say Firefight. My challenge for you is next time is identify that you're playing that pokey style and try and buy space for your Kree and your mate. A lot of people underestimate how much mate pokes, but that's your win con. Creating space to poke and avenues to poke. You know, off angles and multiple angles of damage and all that fun stuff. Well, Chrysalis is Ooga Booga, run into them. So yeah,
Excellent.
those are the win cons I would have.
All right. So, to review, one of the things that you said at the very beginning was that knowing win conditions allows you to play faster. Can you elaborate just a little bit on that? And I have moved on to the next scene as well. So, yeah, they won't be able to see the drawing.
You're good. Knowing win cons to play faster. So, this is what I mean. So, like, when I talked about how Firefight retook that point is because Chrysalis backed up. They didn't recognize the win con of the fact that their win con is getting their Sim and their Rhine in fighting distance and just killing things with the stack damage and
Right.
rushing things down. They backed up, they gave space, and it played into the win con of Firefight, which is creating
Right.
space, allowing them to like create multiple angles of damage and all that fun stuff. Because once they took point, like it is much harder to retake a point with a poke comp than it is with a rush comp. Once you have point, it's really easy to hold with a poke comp because they're coming to you. You don't have to create your own angles already there. Like you don't have to
Right.
go on like a journey to create angles. And so for Firefight, I'll use some of those better examples. Like if they knew their win cons would create space, like there's a lot of dead time of people just like kind of standing there not knowing what to do. If they know their win con, like you'll see Carlton at all times like trying to get an off angle, just moving around, like staying like kind of staying with the team, but also like. So how I always used to find an off angle is parallel or slightly above parallel to your team. Just at a different, like, you're still parallel with everyone. A flank is when you're, like, going way past parallel just everywhere. So when I say off angle, it does not mean flank.
I see what you're saying. Okay, so it's like taking an off angle, you're staying parallel with your own team, but taking a flank, then you're breaking that parallel line. And you're actually moving for. Okay, that's really fascinating. I like that.
And so you want to take off angles, right?
Yeah.
That's why, like, if you're playing the poke comp, that's why Ryan Sig, Hanzo Mei was popular in King's Row. Because there's just so many ways you can take angles with a Sig and a Hanzo, and you're just pumping in damage. And you're still playing Brawl, but it's like a different type of Brawl.
Right.
Like, Ryan Sig Brawl does not play as fast as Ryan Diva Brawl, But when you know those win cons, you're automatically going to those positions, taking those fights faster because you're already in position. There's not so much dead time for setup.
Yeah. I got
So
it.
yeah, that's how it relates. Yeah.
Well, thank you. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much, Nevino, for joining us. Retro and 38 as well. And remember, there's all sorts of amazing shows happening on Overwatch Tranquility. So be sure to tune into all those. Be sure to tune into the rest of the matches happening this week. Thank you so much once again for joining us. And my name is Warren Jungle God Hammond, been joined by Nevino, Retro, and 38. GG's, and see you all next time.